Imagine becoming one of the richest people on earth without ever owning a legitimate business. Imagine having so much power that governments fear you, judges refuse to prosecute you, and entire cities live under your shadow. At the peak of his empire, one man controlled an estimated 80% of the world's cocaine trade, earned billions of dollars every year, and declared war on an entire nation. His name was Pablo Escobar. To some, he was a ruthless criminal responsible for unimaginable violence. To others, he was a modern-day Robin Hood who built homes for the poor and challenged a corrupt system. But who was the real Pablo Escobar? And how did one man build, and ultimately lose, the most powerful criminal empire in modern history? This is the story of the King of Cocaine. Pablo Emilio Escobar Gaviria was born on December 1, 1949, in Rio Negro, Colombia, and grew up in the nearby city of Medellín. His father was a farmer, and his mother was a schoolteacher. The family lived modestly, and Escobar dreamed of escaping poverty. Stories about his early life vary, but many accounts describe him as ambitious from a young age. Before entering the drug trade, he reportedly engaged in small-scale criminal activities, including selling contraband goods and stealing cars. By the early 1970s, Colombia was becoming a key hub in the growing cocaine trade. Escobar recognized the opportunity before most people did, and he moved quickly to take advantage of it. Demand for cocaine in the United States exploded during the late 1970s and early 1980s. Escobar built a sophisticated smuggling network that transported cocaine from laboratories in South America to customers across North America. His organization became known as the Medellín Cartel. Using airplanes, boats, hidden compartments, and innovative smuggling techniques, the cartel expanded at an astonishing pace. At its height, the organization was reportedly moving dozens of tons of cocaine every week. Law enforcement agencies estimated that Escobar controlled a massive share of the global cocaine market during the 1980s. The profits were almost unimaginable. Escobar's wealth quickly became legendary. Forbes magazine listed him among the richest people in the world for several consecutive years. His estimated fortune reached tens of billions of dollars. The cartel generated so much cash that employees reportedly spent thousands of dollars every month on rubber bands just to bundle stacks of money. Some money was hidden in underground bunkers, warehouses, and farms. According to former associates, millions of dollars were eventually destroyed by moisture, mold, rodents, or simply forgotten because there was too much cash to keep track of. His luxurious lifestyle reflected his enormous fortune. He owned private aircraft, helicopters, luxury homes, exotic animals, expensive cars, and a sprawling estate called Hacienda Napoles, complete with a private zoo featuring elephants, giraffes, zebras, and hippos. Some of those hippos, descendants of the original animals imported by Escobar, still roam parts of Colombia today. Escobar maintained control using a strategy that became infamous throughout Colombia. His message was simple: plata o plomo, silver or lead. Accept a bribe, or face a bullet. Police officers, judges, politicians, journalists, and government officials were routinely offered enormous sums of money. Those who refused often became targets of intimidation or assassination. This brutal combination of corruption and violence allowed Escobar to build extraordinary influence while weakening government institutions. Fear became one of his most powerful weapons. As the Colombian government intensified its efforts to stop the Medellín Cartel, Escobar responded with unprecedented violence. Throughout the late 1980s, Colombia experienced one of the bloodiest periods in its history. Car bombs exploded in major cities. Government buildings were attacked. Judges, police officers, journalists, and presidential candidates were assassinated. Thousands of innocent civilians became victims of cartel violence. One of the deadliest attacks occurred in 1989, when a commercial airliner was bombed in an attempt to kill a political target who ultimately was not on board. Everyone aboard the flight was killed. The attack shocked the world and intensified international pressure to dismantle Escobar's organization. Despite the violence, Escobar remained surprisingly popular in some of Medellin's poorest neighborhoods. He financed housing projects. He built soccer fields. He donated money to struggling families. Many residents saw him as someone who succeeded where the government had failed. This earned him the nickname Robin Hood of Medellin. But critics argued that these charitable acts were carefully calculated. The wealth funding these projects came directly from drug trafficking, extortion, and organized violence. While some communities benefited from his generosity, thousands of families across Colombia suffered because of the cartel's actions. His legacy remains deeply controversial to this day. In 1991, after lengthy negotiations with the Colombian government, Escobar agreed to surrender under extraordinary conditions. One of those conditions allowed him to serve his sentence in a prison that he effectively designed himself. The prison, known as La Catedral, looked more like a luxury retreat than a correctional facility. It featured comfortable accommodations, recreational areas, and even amenities rarely found in ordinary prisons. Even while officially imprisoned, Escobar reportedly continued directing parts of his criminal organization from inside the compound. When authorities attempted to transfer him to a conventional prison in 1992, he escaped before the move could take place. His disappearance launched one of the largest manhunts in Colombian history. Following Escobar's escape, Colombian authorities formed a specialized task force known as the Search Bloc. They received assistance from intelligence agencies and international partners, including support from the United States. At the same time, Escobar faced increasing pressure from rival criminal organizations and a vigilante group known as Los Peeps, which targeted members of the Medellín Cartel and people connected to Escobar's network. One by one, his trusted allies were captured or killed. His empire slowly collapsed. The man who once commanded thousands now spent his days constantly changing locations, avoiding phone calls, and struggling to evade capture. His world had become smaller, lonelier, and far more dangerous. On December 2, 1993, just one day after his 44th birthday, authorities tracked Escobar to a neighborhood in Medellin. After locating him through intercepted communications, Colombian police surrounded the building. A gunfight followed. Escobar attempted to escape by climbing across nearby rooftops. Moments later, he was shot and killed. Photographs of his body quickly spread across the world, marking the symbolic end of one of history's most notorious criminal empires. However, debate continues over exactly how he died. Some believe he was killed by police during the firefight. Others, including members of his family, have argued that he took his own life rather than be captured alive. The full truth remains disputed. More than 3 decades after his death, Pablo Escobar continues to fascinate people around the world. Books, documentaries, films, television series, podcasts, and museum exhibits continue exploring his extraordinary life. Yet behind the mythology lies a far darker reality. His organization fueled the global cocaine trade, corrupted institutions, destabilized a nation, and contributed to years of violence that claimed thousands of lives. His story serves as a reminder that immense wealth and influence built through crime often come at an enormous human cost. Pablo Escobar achieved what few people ever have. He accumulated unimaginable wealth. He challenged governments. He became one of the most feared men on earth. But despite all his money and power, he spent his final years hiding from enemies on every side. His empire crumbled. His allies disappeared. And his story ended not in a palace, but on a rooftop. The rise and fall of Pablo Escobar remains one of the most remarkable and cautionary stories in modern history. What do you think? Was Pablo Escobar simply a ruthless criminal, or did the social and political conditions of his time help create the legend that still captivates millions today? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this documentary, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more true stories, history, and documentary content.